Hello everyone, Bryan here, and today I've got another episode of What Would Bryan Do? The first question I'm going to bring to you guys today comes from Bryan Boitano, the Bryan Boitano. He asks, do you think we should have used nukes in Afghanistan? This is a question I debated with some of my coworkers not too long ago. And they asked me pretty much the same question because it sounds like such an easy solution, doesn't it? I mean, we as one of the remaining, if not the only remaining, quote-unquote superpowers in the world, we have all these nuclear weapons, these giant ICBMs sitting in silos, and we also have, at our disposal, nuclear-tipped tomahawk missiles and nuclear-tipped bombs, which I guess are more strategic and surgical in nature, rather than just destroying an entire, metropolitan city. These things could be used to destroy a smaller town or, basically a smaller sized area. And like I said, while that sounds like an easier type solution, it's really not a practical one in my opinion, and wouldn't be a smart decision. I mean, honestly, the nature of warfare has changed so much in recent history. I mean, you look back at the wars that were fought, in the Revolution, the Civil War, World War I, World War II. And even somewhat in Vietnam and also in the Korean War. In those wars, it was really easy to tell friend from foe. Everyone wore a distinct uniform. Everyone wore their country's patch or whatever the case may be. Now the nature of warfare in the Middle East and other areas around the world has changed. The wars of today really are guerrilla wars. There are no front lines. There's no enemy bases and strongholds that you can easily target and destroy. I mean, you get into a brief battle with some of these insurgents, as they're commonly referred to as, and they do their quick hit and run tactic, their quick whatever, and then they immediately blend right back into the population, and you can't tell them from any other local townsperson, villager, or citizen. And the majority of those people that are in these other countries, they want, like I said before in our other video, they want to be free, they want to govern themselves. Many people just want, the warfare to stop. It's, a select handful, 100,000, few thousand people out of a population of millions that are perpetuating the violence in many of these wars. And you're not going to solve anything by dropping a nuclear weapon on the capital of Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever country it may be. All you're really going to accomplish is killing a lot of innocent civilians and a lot of people that really want to have no part in the conflict or the warfare whatsoever. And you're going to further alienate that population and do more harm than good. I mean, a lot of people will say that we don't belong in a lot of these areas to begin with. That's an entirely different issue. But finding ourselves in the situation we're in now, I just personally don't think nuclear weapons would be an option or a wise course of action, to say the least. Because ever since the United States dropped the first atomic bombs during World War II on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it started the arms race between the United States and, at the time, this former Soviet Union. And obviously, we built up so many nuclear weapons that we could destroy the world 10 times over. And since that time, many, many other countries have developed their own nuclear weapons in addition to the United States and the former Soviet Union. The current nuclear countries are the United Kingdom, France, China, and India, Pakistan, North Korea, and even the undeclared nuclear power, which is Israel. And the only real thing that has kept this population and this planet and the human race alive to this point has been the fear of what is referred to as mutually assured destruction. No one wants to use a nuclear weapon because once you do, you're pretty much going to open up Pandora's box, and you're going to, in my opinion, set off a chain of events that is going to quickly spiral out of control. Once one country uses one for whatever purpose or reason it may be, you're pretty much giving the green light to other countries to use them as well. Like I said, the only thing that is keeping, like I said, this planet and the human race alive is that fear. And I think it's a very viable and valid fear. If we were to use one in Afghanistan, then okay, then maybe Pakistan and India, which are constantly, sparring with each other over a disputed territory called Kashmir, maybe they decide to use one on each other as well. And maybe China decides to use one on Taiwan, which is, they claim is their territory, even though most of the world recognizes Taiwan as an independent country. Maybe Russia uses one in the former Republic of Georgia against what they call insurgents in their neck of the woods. Like I said, once you use one, you're pretty much green lighting every other country to use one as well. And before you know it, we find this planet in a nuclear holocaust and a nuclear winter. And, every living thing on this planet dies. Because, like I said, it only takes one tug on that thread to unravel everything. And, like I said, I really do fear that that would spiral out of control. And I really, really do hope and pray that no one country or no one person ever decides to use a nuclear weapon on another country, regardless of their rationale or reasoning behind it. Especially, I do hope that no terrorist ever gets their hands on a nuclear device or nuclear weapon of any kind, because I think, in my opinion, they would be the ones that wouldn't hesitate to use it, because they wouldn't care how quickly that could spiral out of control, and whatever country they did decide to use it on may feel they have no other choice but to respond in kind. And like I said, there's just all hope that day never ever comes, because that will be the darkest day in human history. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I will talk to all of you soon, and I hope you have a good one.